Hello everyone, Namaskar. Welcome to the world of astrology, a channel where we do a rational analysis of the birth chart based on rules of Vedic astrology. In my last video, I explained the basic rules associated with various houses of a birth chart. Today, we will see what happens when Sun occupies the first house of Aries ascendant in a birth chart. This means that the first house of a birth chart has Sun and a numeric value of 1, which denotes Aries as per the chronological order of the zodiac signs, if you remember. Sun feels very comfortable in Aries. It becomes exalted here, meaning that the Sun is capable of delivering its full energy. So here we start. Sun in the first house of Aries ascendant. Sun is in the center of the solar system. It's the king. So, if Sun is placed in the first house of a birth chart, you find great confidence in this person because it's the king. This person's personality is magnetic. The Sun brightens his personality and charm. These people are very bold and aggressive at starting any new task, as they are of competitive nature. Sign of Aries. However, this Sun brings in ego as well. Because the Sun's energy is absorbed by the whole body of the native. Remember the first house? First house represents your whole body, your whole formation. And then Sun is placed in that first house. Your ascendant, your first house, represents your whole body, and then Sun being in that house, Sun brightens the complete birth chart. These people don't like copying others. They like to set the trend themselves. Now this Sun in the first house gives good health. In fact, because of the Sun's energy, these people have warmer bodies compared to others. If you shake hands with these people, you will find that their hands are warmer. But the problem with this Sun is that the Sun gets blinded by its own light. There's too much of light. Because Sun is very bright, and being in the first house, Sun's brightness is in the whole body, your whole formation. Now, because this Sun feels like a dictatorial king here, it doesn't give much of importance to what others expect from them. These people's mind builds up its own set of rules to decide what is right and what is wrong for others. Now this happens because this Sun gives a natural tendency to think that you can never annoy anyone. An ideal person for these people is their own self. So these people need to be very careful of arrogance. This can also create a disbalance in marriage life. Because this first house Sun directly aspects the seventh house. The brightness of the Sun overshadows the seventh house. Person may tend to become bossy with the spouse. Because the Sun makes the person feels first me, then you. Even though it may not be liked by the spouse, but guess what? The spouse is unable to escape this person's warmth and charm. Yeah. Such people feel more comfortable if they marry a person who is self-dependent. That kind of balances the seventh house. Now, of course, other aspects and conjunctions also have to be taken into account to do a better analysis. But by and large, this is what happens. Business partnerships don't work well for these people. They do better if they are self-employed. These people are full of ideas. And as I said, they are very good at starting a new task. But due to lack of patience, they keep changing directions. And when it comes to spending, they can easily exceed their limits because Sun is the king. However, if this Sun is aspected by Saturn, now here's the catch. If this Sun is aspected by Saturn, these bad effects are reduced because Saturn cares for the servant class. Saturn cares for the underprivileged people. So this Saturn melts the ego of the Sun. You'll also notice that these people experience a weak eyesight and hair loss after the age of 23. That's the age when the Sun gets matured. Yes, planets also have a maturity age. Now, you also need to check the strength of the ascendant and the Sun by checking their degrees in the birth chart. The effects are more prominent if the Sun is closer to the ascendant. Let's say your ascendant is at 12 degrees and the Sun is at 11 degrees or 10 degrees. It's quite a close conjunction. If the ascendant and the Sun are far apart, these effects will be less. One more thing. Sun is the lord of the 5th house of Aries ascendant. Now, depending on how good or bad the 5th house is, the Sun sitting in the 1st house gets affected. Fifth house is a Trikona house. You can notice that these people are good in creative art and fine literature or any other thing associated with the 5th house. Well, that's what Sun does when it sits in the 1st house of Aries ascendant. In my next video, we will discuss what happens when the Sun is in the 1st house of Taurus ascendant. Till then, take care and have lots of fun.